many of you recognize my friend here today because she's been on this channel before with me. Her name's Adrienne.
Hello.
And for those of you who watch the Fiber Friends, you already know and love her quite well. So she is the second of 3 of the Fiber Friends, and Adrienne is our yarn dyer.
That's me.
That's you. So, as well as being a fabulous knitter and yarn dyer, Adrienne is also... Originally a stitcher.
And that's how we met.
That is how we met. That's right, at Thread and I.
That's right.
So, I've been wanting to do this little episode for a while because Adrienne has some amazing works in progress.
Thanks.
Like really, really stunning. You're going to be amazed. She is, well, why don't you explain what's happened?
Sure. I was a crazy stitcher, just like this one over here. You know, hours and hours and hours a day. Loved it. Loved every stitch that I put into it. And a lot of my stitching I stitched for my mom, my best friend. And unfortunately she passed away about 4.5 years ago. And I just haven't been able to stitch to the same degree since. Pretty much every project I have has stalled because there is some ounce of I wanted to show my mom, I was meant for my mom, all that sort of stuff. So,
well, there's so much memory stitched into your work, especially the big projects that take years, right? Because you remember things that happened when you were working on this part over here. Yeah. This is when we were talking about this, or this is when this was happening in our lives. And it's like a memory. It's a trip down memory lane. Yeah.
Exactly. So it's been very tough for me to stitch lately, but you know, I still want to finish them, and every once in a while this one makes me stitch. Drags me to a retreat or a stitchy night, and I put in a few stitches, and then I go, oh, that's right, I love this. So,
yeah.
You know, I try. The progress is definitely much slower than it used to be. So, yeah.
Well, also that you're a freak knitter.
True. Yeah. I do knit like a fiend now. Which is funny, because I actually resisted knitting, and this one made me try knitting. And I told her, it's not that I wouldn't like knitting, it's that I would like it too much.
I know. There's a new hashtag apparently going around, because Caroline told me to, or because Caroline made me, or something. Because Caroline
said so.
That's right, because Caroline said so. That's right. Hashtag. So, yeah. But, you know.
Absolutely.
I won't apologize because your knitting is...
You never apologize.
No, I meant it. Your knitting is phenomenal.
Thank you.
Yeah. So anyways, are you ready to see?
Some stitching?
Yeah, because this is good.
All right, so the first one I'm going to show you, back in 2012, I participated in the Ultimate Crazy January Challenge, which is a brand new start every day for 31 days.
Which I think is similar to the new Stitch Mania.
Yeah, that happens in May now.
Yeah.
So it used to be a January challenge. And
okay.
It's a May challenge. And I actually started this one as one of those starts. And it's still not done.
That's okay.
It's okay.
We all understand.
This is Elizabeth by Mira.
Oh my goodness.
So I am 100% a Millennium Frame fan.
Yes, you really are.
Yes, everything I do is on Millennium Frames now.
Now, you've had these for a number of years now. At that time that you purchased these, how long did it take you to get them in?
I got really lucky, I think. And I got my first couple orders.
So you can see, there's the top there.
Yeah. My first couple orders came pretty quickly. I only waited maybe like 5 or 6 weeks.
Oh, that's pretty good, because now I've heard it's a lot longer than that.
Yeah, and it really depends on when you get your order in, and I probably put in, you know, in total 6 or 7 orders. I'd order 2 or 3 frames at a time.
Okay.
Because I probably have, you know, 7 or 8 sets of frames and a bunch of extra spindles and stuff like that. So
she's legit. She's got the goods. Now she needs to get on and finish it.
The Millennium Frame floor frame.
Yeah,
and
it's
I had a lap stand for a while.
Beautiful frame. I'm looking right at it. It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Now, because I know people are going to ask,
Yep.
Where did you get your scroll rod covers?
I actually had Kathy from Thread and I contacted her.
Sewist, who makes the grime guards, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And special ordered these.
Now, I know you can find these on Etsy. I know that my Kathy from Evertotes has made a set for herself for her scroll rods. I think there are some tutorials online if you know how to sew. I don't think that they're that hard to make. So
I do not sew, so that's why I have to get everyone else to do. One skill I do not have. So, but yeah. So yeah, so this
it's
is
beautiful.
The big pink monster.
The big pink monster. Now we should mention that there isn't more rolled up on the frame.
No, so it goes up to the top of her dress. So if you go, so I've got to the top of
the
her
bodice.
dress.
Yeah.
But she has no arms, no shoulders, no head, no hair, and no chair.
But a big pink dress.
She's got a big pink dress. So I'm working on finishing all the white and lace down at the bottom. So once I finish that, I'll scroll back up to the top and I'll do the top and the chair.
And you have decided to do the skin over one.
Yes,
right?
the skin will be done over one.
Now there is someone currently on our Facebook group doing this.
Yes, I saw that.
And she's moving a lot faster than you.
Yes, well, I'm working on 6 years right now, so pretty much everybody is faster than me.
But it's beautiful.
Thank you. So it's stitched
really
over to,
beautiful.
I think this is a 32 count.
It looks like a 32.
Yeah, I do like stitching on 32
Me
count,
too.
so that's one of my favorites.
It's lovely.
And I'm an even weave girl, not a linen girl, so everything I do is on even weave.
Yes. You love Lugano, right?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Very nice.
Thanks.
Beauty.
All right,
Beauty.
number one.
Number one. Moving on.
All right, and then this was my heartbreaker. So I grew up in Niagara-on-the-Lake, Ontario, and there's a local artist there named Angie Strauss, and my mom actually worked for her for 18 years.
At the Butterfly Gallery?
Yes.
Ah.
No, Butterfly Gallery is a different store.
Oh.
It was the Angie Strauss Art Gallery that my mom worked at for 18
Oh.
years. Left there and went to work at the
And then
my mom loves butterflies. So she worked in the Butterfly Gallery where everything had butterflies on it.
Okay.
It was kind of like our house threw up in a store. So
they had a lot of butterflies.
yeah, a lot of butterflies. When she passed away, we were like, what are we going to do with all the butterflies? We're talking like, my nieces took like bags of magnets, like
Lots of butterflies.
Lots of butterflies. So, because my mom had worked for this artist for so long, loved all her art, I actually secretly went to the artist and said, I want to stitch one of your paintings for my mom. So I got special permission to change her artwork into a cross-stitch pattern, and then I started stitching it.
And how did you do that? Which program did you use?
I didn't. I actually paid someone in the UK.
You paid someone in the UK. Do you remember the name of the business?
I don't.
No.
It's been ages.
Okay.
There was a cross-stitch forum that I was on at the time, and one of the members there did it.
That would be a great question to ask the group, either Stitch Mania group or the Friday group. Someone in there knows where to get something like this.
So this was 7 or 8 years ago that I had this done.
Yeah.
And so this is stitched over one on 25 count.
Isn't that amazing?
So it's called Drama Queen, and my mom absolutely loves poppies. So
Adrienne, this is just it literally is a work of art. It's stunning.
Literally and figuratively, yes.
Yes, literally and figuratively. It's just amazing.
Thank you.
Gorgeous.
Yeah. You want to see my backside?
Do we ever?
Oh,
I never turn down an invitation to see someone's backside.
There you go.
There you go. Look at that. Now, Gerald, take note.
That's mean.
I know. It's totally mean.
Yeah.
He knows that I'm poking fun at him, though, because he does it on purpose. Yeah. And I don't care. I really don't care. It's just that I have slight OCD tendencies, and that's the only reason why I care. Not because I think that he's doing a bad job, because he's not. Have you seen Henry lately?
I know, it's beautiful.
Oh my goodness. But anyways, okay, so you park, obviously.
I do.
You park your threads in the corner there.
Yep.
And you've got some gridding done in the corner where you're headed. Oh, Adrienne, it's just absolutely amazing.
Thanks. Yeah, I love this one. I have not touched this one since my mom passed, and it's been very hard to even look at it.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it took you a while to even take it out.
Yeah, absolutely.
I remember.
But yeah, one day I'll finish it. It might take me 20 years, but one day I'll finish it.
That's okay. It's all good. Oop, frame's right in front of your face. Sorry. Okay. This happens on the Fiber Friends too. One of us always has a sock in the face.
Yeah.
Okay. Wonderful.
So that's
Thank you for
drama-free.
sharing.
Ah, no problem.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Wrap it up in a towel. Keep it nice and safe. There you go, right? Gotta protect it.
Drama queen sausage.
Yep. All right. This one, I didn't tell her that I was bringing.
I know, this one's a surprise.
So.
And she's keeping it a surprise right up until the
Yep.
last minute.
Right up until the last minute. So this. Piece of blackwork.
Ta-da! Oh my goodness.
Yep. Tension it up a little bit and get it nice and tight for you.
That is amazing.
So this is
I think I need some of these scroll rods.
I know, they're great.
But I think it takes like a year to get them now.
So this
That's amazing.
is Sierra Blue by Elizabeth Almond.
Elizabeth Almond.
It looks done, but it's not done. There's an entire big border around here. So the little thing in the center is actually repeated as a border all the way around. They can't see my fingers. Can
No,
they?
they can't see your fingers. Here. There.
There you go. So the thing in the center
Yes.
is actually repeated as
Yes.
a border all the way around, which I have
Oh.
not done yet.
But look at that. Look at the detail on that. Oh, it's so, so pretty. Now, I'll, full disclosure, I also owned this pattern and I may have gifted it to someone else because I love the look of blackwork. Like seriously, I just want Adrian to finish this and
So
give
you
it to
have-
me, and so that I can put it on my wall.
Yeah, no, I don't love you that much.
I know she doesn't love me that much. This is a labor of love.
Yeah,
and
it really
blackwork and I tend to run out of steam. I know myself very well. I would do a third of it and then I would never pick it up and finish it ever.
Yeah. And this is stitched
Oh, it's gorgeous.
in Vicki Clayton's hand-dyed.
I've been talking
Silks.
about Vicky a lot lately
Yeah.
because I'm.
So this is
Yeah.
all done in silk.
Oh, it's just amazing.
Yeah.
The color,
And
the
my
color
backside?
that you chose. Look at this. It's as neat as the front.
Yeah.
It is as neat as the front. Now we don't back shame here, even though I totally shamed Gerald,
Poor Gerald.
but only because I'm taking the Mickey out of him. Really. But when you're doing blackwork, when you're doing stuff like this, it actually is really important that your backside is neat because as you can see, you would see it right through. Even if there was something like, even if this was framed and matted and against a board, you would still see the black thread through the back if you weren't extremely careful with how you carried your thread.
Yeah.
So
Which is why it takes so freaking long to
it
do.
is true. It's true. You
Yeah.
have to
There's a lot of-
you have to follow the path. Now we took a class with Liz Almond.
Yes, we did. A couple years ago.
Yeah, it was 2014
maybe?
I think so. Yeah. And she is amazing.
She's so much
She's
fun.
amazing and she's so much fun. It was a great class. If you have an opportunity to meet her or take a class with her, she's awesome. So
Yeah.
her Save the Stitches. I know there's at least a few other people doing Save the Stitches.
Nice.
And it's massive. It's massive, that thing. I love it. Look at that.
I know.
It's gorgeous. You totally could just frame it right now.
I could.
But you would know and I
I
would know
would
that
know.
it was
Done.
wasn't
I
done.
know. Ugh.
Ah.
And I have one more thing to show.
One
This one
more
is a
thing.
finished object.
A fully finished object.
Fully finished. Fully finished. So this was done in 2010. I had only just kind of gotten back into stitching again around 2008. And so this was one of the first really big projects I did. It took me all freaking year to do. But it was a Christmas present for my mom because she loves butterflies. And so I found a dimensions kit called Butterfly Forest.
Look at that. It looks like a painting. It looks like a painting. Dimensions kits, I've done a couple of them. And, I don't think there are any other kit designers out there that can do shading quite like Dimensions.
Absolutely.
Also, backstitching. There's always so much backstitching in a
I know, but
Dimensions kit. I know it adds a lot. I know. It wouldn't be the same without it. But
absolutely. And this kit was really great because
the back stitching just about kills me.
The butterflies are all full stitch with back stitch, but the forest behind it is all half stitch.
10 stitch. Okay.
Yeah.
So it looks, you know, they really pop off the
Yes,
screen
exactly.
there. There's the bottom. Ooh, look at those flowers. It's just beautiful. You had museum glass put in this, I'm pretty sure, because there's hardly any glare.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so pretty.
Yeah. So this
You have to start stitching again.
I know. So this hung on my mom's wall until she passed. And then I brought it home with me, and it faced the wall for about 3 years because I couldn't look at it.
Yeah.
And then it was only actually recently that I put it back up on my wall, and it now, every time I come out of my bedroom, it's in the hallway at the top of the stairs, and I see it every day. And
That's nice.
yeah, it took a long time before I could look at it, though.
Yeah.
But now I like to look at it every day.
Yeah.
So yeah.
She loved it.
Oh my. She had no idea I was stitching it. And I went home at Christmas time that year because I was a grad student at the time. And I actually snuck it into the house, so she had no idea I brought anything into the house. I stuck it under the bed, so she had no idea. And then at like 3 o'clock in the morning, Christmas morning, I snuck out of my room, and so I put it with all the rest of the presents under the tree. So she had no idea. And all of a sudden, this huge present arrives for her, and she opened it up, and she just bawled. It was fabulous.
Those are always the best kind of people to give gifts.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
When you just know you've nailed the gift just perfectly.
Yeah.
So, well, really nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. Well, I'm hoping that this maybe gives you a little bit of inspiration. You know, revisiting your pieces.
Boot to the bum.
A little boot to the bottom. And, you know, maybe you'll get after some of these things because they're amazing. Your work is amazing. It's
Thank
so
you.
stunning. It's beautiful.
I know. It is pretty. I need to finish stuff.
Yeah.
I do.
And it's inspiration for me, too.
How so?
To see. Well, because your projects are different than mine.
That is true.
I love that it's on even weave. I love that it's small count. It's very fine work. It's very detailed, you know, and I really appreciate seeing something that's completely different because mine tends to be all over the place, right? Have you met me? You know, and yours is very focused. They're big pieces, but, you know, I like how, you know, when I spend a weekend with you, when we're at a retreat, you're very focused in your work and you pick a specific section and you go at it until, you know, you've completed a certain amount. And I like watching that.
Oh,
so
thanks.
I always have.
Cool.
So, yeah. Next retreat, there's one coming up at the beginning of November for those in Southwestern Ontario or for those who fancy a car ride. You know, obviously space is limited, so like 300 people can't show up. But beginning of November, it's at the Elmhurst Inn in Ingersoll. And if you're interested, message me and I'll put you in touch with Patty. Miss Patty and Joanne are in charge of the details. So, yay.
Awesome. So thanks for having me today.
Hey, thank you for agreeing to do this. You're a good sport.
That's me.
Now we just have to break into the funny Canadianisms like we were doing the other day.
Yeah. You said you had a joke for me.
Oh yeah. I have a joke. Okay. I have to remember how to tell it right. This is always my problem, is remembering how to tell the joke right. Okay. How did the rocket lose its job? It was fired.
You and your bad dad jokes.
I know. It's awful. My 7-year-old niece told me that joke yesterday, and I giggled for like 5 minutes.
Yeah, that sounds like you.
I know. It's terrible. Anyway, okay. That's it.
It is.
Okay. I'll see you in a minute for the shop update. Wasn't she awesome? Adrienne has the most amazing projects, and I hope you enjoyed me sharing her and them with you. I've known her for many years now, and it's really nice for me to get to share the people in my life with you. And, you know, since I mention them quite frequently, it's nice for you to have a face and a personality to go with the name. So thank you for sharing that with us. Okay, so I have a little update of my own because you know, I can't go 2 full weeks without sharing, because then I would, you know, these episodes would be 3 hours long. So I have a finish. Yay! I have show and tell. I actually finished what I said I was going to finish. Now, I didn't have much to do, but here it is. My February, A Year in Chalk from Hands On Design. And I finished it the day after, so I finished it on Tuesday last week, the day after I recorded last week's episode. And as you can see, I really didn't have much to do. I just had to finish this top part here, and now it's done. So moving on to, I have March all ready to go. This is March's design. Now it says May on it. I actually saw the pattern and assumed it was May because I didn't look that closely at it until I realized, no, in fact, that is March. It's May luck be yours, which of course makes sense for St. Patrick's Day. And I really like that design. I'm looking forward to stitching this quite a lot. So again, I'll just be using plain DMC white as my thread, the Needlearts, Weeks Dye Work fabric, which is the gunmetal, that's a 30 count, and the specialty floss that I'll be using for this is avocado, and that's the Needlearts. I'll take it out of the package so you can actually see the color. Bit of glare on there. So there you go. That's the avocado color, and I think that'll look quite nice in this design. So it's all ready to go. I fully intend to keep up with myself, you guys. So far, so good. 2 months down. Only 8 to go because 2 of the other ones are already finished, so only 8 to go. All right, next. Last week I talked about finishing the second installment of the Blackbird designs. This is Loose Feathers Autumn. I did not finish this. Those of you who watched Friday Off the Grid, this was actually, I was very brave, and this was the piece that I decided to work on while I was chatting away with everyone. And I managed to complete a fair bit of these diamonds. I completed the entire green row here, the little bit of border there. I still have to put my initials in, and I'm not taking this off my floor frame until this is done because I have such a little bit left to do. And I knew that if I took it off my floor frame in order to share it with you today, I would delay putting it back on. So I took a picture instead of my progress, and I will insert that here. So as you can see, last Friday night stitch-in, I probably worked on it for about 3 hours. And we were also watching an old season of The Amazing Race, and it was one that we hadn't seen before. And I was a bit distracted while I was stitching. So I didn't get as much done as I would have liked, but I made some good progress on an old whip, and that makes me happy. And once again, it is not leaving my frame until that second part is done. I am promising myself that that's what's going to happen. Okay, so that brings me to my new start, because yesterday was the very last Sunday of the month, which meant that it was time for me to celebrate high tea. So I recorded a little episode yesterday. There is a giveaway on that episode. This is Sunday Off the Grid. I can never remember the names of these things. I always have to double check when I load the title in because I'm recording a fair number of videos now, and so I always double check what the title is before I post them. It's Sunday High Tea, Off the Grid Needlearts, something like that, or Off the Grid Needlearts Sunday High Tea. You'll see it in the list if you're interested in watching. There is a giveaway. It's kind of a fun one. But what I always like to do, once a month, I celebrate starting something from my stash, something new. And that sometimes can mean that you have to purchase 1 or 2 things in order to make that happen. And that is, in fact, what I had to do this month. So I explained all of that in yesterday's episode. I purchased the fabric and I purchased the pattern. And the thing that I'm using that's special from my stash is some really luscious Vicky Clayton hand-dyed silk. So the pattern that I'm starting is Modern Folk Embroideries, the Mystery Stitch Along, the 4 Seasons, a Primitive Quaker Year. So this was January's. Now, as you can see, yesterday I said that I was going to be stitching from my iPad. I wasn't a fan. I wasn't a fan. And you know, I was just going from the pattern. I didn't bother downloading Goodreader, and before I say that I'm not a fan, I probably should have given it a real test, but I'm a little bit too impatient for that. I'm quite old school. I like to highlight my pattern. So I printed off a copy and I fully intend to highlight my progress as I go. So it works for me. Anyways, because I didn't get started yesterday, this was a very busy weekend for our small business Evertote. We were sewing for most of the weekend, and it was really nice to have Kathy and Steve and Clara here for the weekend. So we had a great time, but it meant that I didn't really get any personal crafting done until after I had loaded yesterday's video on. And I didn't have anything prepared to go. I didn't have my fabric ready. I didn't have, you know, obviously my pattern was not conducive to getting a lot of stitching done. So, but what I did was I cut my fabric, I serged the edges because I want this fabric to, I just wanted everything to be just right for this project. It's a special one for me. And so I serged the fabric. I started it on a Q-snap, and you know, once again, I have this 11 by 17 Q-snap that every once in a while, when I can't find a set of scroll rods that are empty because they're full of other projects, I drag out this 11 by 17 Q-snap. And I know there are a lot of stitchers out there who love them. I am not one of them. Every time I use this thing, it annoys me. And life is too short. I don't have enough time to be annoyed by anything about my stitching. So instead of just, you know, carrying on, I went and I searched the house, and I had a project that was, actually I can show it to you because it's right here. This is a project that has been languishing in my whip pile for quite a while, and it is the Santa's Village, which I love it. It's adorable. I only have 3 of the houses done. This has been sitting like this in my whip pile for ages. So this here, from the stash pile, there. I've added another section to my video here from the stash pile. So as you can see, I've only got 3 of there's 12, right? 12 patterns. I only have 3 of them done. I have not touched this in 2 years. It is not something that I am going to give up on because I love everything about it. I love the fabric. I love the cuteness of the houses. I'm doing it on, for me, what is a perfect stitch count. I think that the design is really popping off there very, very nicely. However, here's the thing. Because I started Frosty Forest, and I'm doing it all on one piece of fabric, and I started the houses, the ABC sampler houses, those are 3 very similar projects for me, and I would really like to get Frosty Forest done because I am more than half complete that project now, and it's probably the one that I'm the furthest along. So I want to work on that one and get it done first. So I took this one off the scroll rods that it was on, and I'm going to be tucking it away until after Frosty Forest is done. And when Frosty Forest is done, this will take those scroll rods. It's not going anywhere. It's not going to go moldy. I tuck them away carefully and keep it in my stash pile for another day. So because I removed that, I had an empty pair of scroll rods. So I spent last night attaching my fabric to the scroll rods, getting it set up the way that I like it, and then I started stitching late last night. So I didn't get a lot done, but I can share with you the progress that I made so far. So as you can see, look at my perfectly serged fabric. You can admire the job that I did on that. And then over here. Oh, we're getting the camera shadow on it. So I'll just bring it nice and close. So there you can see, that's all I have done. So not very much, but I'm loving it. I'm really, really loving it. I think it is everything that I had hoped it would be. It's one of those projects where as soon as you start it, everything just sort of feels like it's going to come together beautifully. And when I purchased this pattern from Modern Folk Embroidery, I sent, and it is Jakob, because he left me a comment on my video yesterday and said that I had nailed the pronunciation. So thank you, Jakob, for leaving me a comment and letting me know that Ingeborg, of course, was correct, and that is how we pronounce your name. So I emailed him a little thank you because last weekend I had posted in the Facebook group, because I had seen on Instagram that he was having a little sale of his patterns to celebrate Valentine's Day, and he had 20% off everything, all of the patterns in his shop. And I had been, you know, I wasn't on the fence about the mystery sal. As soon as the first part came out, I knew I wanted to do it. And because I know his style, because I know that he has not put out a single design that I haven't absolutely loved, I knew it was a sure thing. I knew that I would love it. It's my style. It is everything that I love about it. And I can't believe it has taken me this long to finally start one of his designs, because I have admired them for so long. And I have, a few years ago, I purchased, he has a Christmas sampler pack, a Christmas 4-pack. There are 4 Christmas designs and you can buy them all as one set. I purchased that a couple of years ago. And the fabric that I have originally started Winter Quakers on, I am now going to use that for those Christmas designs one day. One of those will be one of my next, not next, but later in the year, another high tea start. So anyways, once again, I have rambled on for 5 minutes, what should have just taken 1. I sent him a thank you for the coupon code. And I said, you know, it was really nice of you to do this. I'm so pleased. I love your patterns. Basically, you know, I love everything you do. And he replied, and seeing a reply email in my email from Modern Folk Embroidery was like total fangirl moment. I'm not even joking. It's like, think about your biggest, you know, one of the people that you admire the most, and they responded to you. And not only responded, but took the time to, it was a thoughtful email. It was really nice. So anyways, Jakob watched yesterday's episode and he left a comment. He was pleased that I was starting it. And then he sent me another email because, anyways, it doesn't matter. He'd replied to my next email. I just got it this morning. And he took the time to take me through floss. He was worried that I was going to have to play floss chicken at the end, because he did the calculations, and my calculations that I'd come up with in order to start this design, he was worried that I might run just a little bit short, only using the 300 yards of silk that I have. So fortunately for me, on yesterday's episode, I also shared that I have 300 yards of a slightly lighter blue, and he said, you know, why don't you combine them? And I had originally thought of doing that, but then you know how we do, right? You hem and you haw and you think, oh, I'm not sure. And I really adore this dark blue. His design, the picture that he shows is all in one, which I love. But then I have seen other people, their progress on Facebook and also on Instagram, who are combining colors, and it's gorgeous. So when Jakob tells you, hey, you know, you might run out of thread by the time we get to December, then I'm going to listen and I'm going to take his advice, and I am going to start to combine. This is Vicki Clayton, who no longer sells handdyedfibers.com. I wish she would, as I've said many times, and I know there are lots of others out there who also wish the same. This is called Yonder Sky, and this one, other one is called Zafra Cobalt. So those are my 2 colors. I already have thoughts in mind. Where I'm going to do the paler blue will be the motifs that are on the inside here, and most likely, you know, things that are on the inside. Probably not the big ones, but maybe the smaller ones. Either that, or these will all be the dark blue, and all of these little snowflakes and little hearts, the bird will be dark blue, but then all of this little fill in here, I'm thinking of doing in the paler color, as well as these guys here. And that should allow me to have plenty. That should allow me to have plenty of silk. This is not a small design. That's my update for today, guys. Thank you for sharing that with me. I have a shop update today, and I am gonna just say this, it's substantial. So if you have zero interest in seeing any of the project bags, we're done here today, and thank you so much for joining me. If you would like to stay and watch, I'm gonna show you some bags. So Kathy and I were sewing all weekend. She also had brought up a stack of bags with her that she'd been working on at home, that she does every time we get together, and then I loaded them all into the shop. I don't think I have every single bag here to share with you today that is in the shop that I loaded, but I have a really good sampling. So I'm going to try to be brief. I have a couple of new wedge totes. This fabric you've seen before. I did this in a flat tote before, the cat fabric with the hot pink. So what I've done is I made 3 wedge totes. So good for ornaments, good for smalls, good for, this one fits a 6-inch or an 8-inch square Q-snap. This does fit an 8-inch square. The small wedge tote only fits the 6-inch. You couldn't shove an 8-inch Q-snap in there. So lining fabric, and that's it. So there are 3 of those. This next one is so cute. We have watermelons. This is also a wedge tote. Lining fabric is just a nice clean white. There's a small little star on the white, little sparkly star. A couple of those. These wedge totes do not have notions totes. Not everybody wants a notions tote all the time with their project bag. We try to do a mix. We try to offer some with and some without. And sometimes the ones that we put up that don't have one is because we just don't have enough fabric to do one, or we just thought we didn't have one that would coordinate with it, or that somebody just might like to not buy a notions tote. Anyways, getting into the flat totes now, we put out 3 sets that come with the fabric covered needle minders. So this is the first one. I only have one of these left. One sold over the weekend, and it's beautiful. I love this one. So a pale pink zipper. This one has that same star liner on the inside. The notions tote matches the outside the main fabric, excuse me, and then I've been tucking the needle minders inside the notions tote. Matches the same, and silver magnet on the back. So that's the first set. The next set is this really, really pretty black and coral and teal. It's washing out just a little bit. It's a beautiful black fabric, and matching notions and the inside. Now the liner fabric is the same on both bags. It's this stripe, sorry, this grid pattern here, a nice bright color, and then the needle minder matches the liner. So that's the second one. The third one, this is really cute. Retro kitchen tools. Also a black fabric. How cute are those? It makes me want a milkshake. So the coordinating notions tote is a gingham, a red gingham. And then the needle minder it matches. It's got the red gingham on it. So those are the sets that we have that have needle minders. This next one is just the bag, which I love. Now, a huge shout out to my brother here, because Kathy says that my brother chose this fabric. I love this one. So, hey Steve, nicely done. Lining fabric. White with stars. We had a fair bit of that. Lining fabric we go through the most of, because of course, you know, accent fabric you combine with the twill, and the lining fabric you always need more of. Okay, next, this one is a set. Aren't they cute? They're sweet in sort of a non-cutesy way. Not that there's anything wrong with cutesy. Anyways, coordinating notions with a pop of yellow on the top. Lining. Shocker. Next, a pale aqua color. I really like the birds in this one. And I love this twill. Because Kathy and I shop at different fabric shops, the one that's near her had this color twill and mine did not. So I'm thinking the next time she goes shopping for twill, she needs to pick me up some of this color, because this is one of my favorite colors. I have a feeling that the liner that she put in this, oh, it's a surprise. Look. Matching notions. Paisley. Gray zip. How I love that. We've got the white liner there. And coordinating, matching, and this one has a green zip on top. Okay, so those are all of the medium sets. Now I know there's a few others that I loaded on. The camping fabric that I showed you last week, I made a few of those and I sold the 2 medium sizes over the weekend already. So I will be making a few more of them, but they're just not ready to go yet, so I'm not loading them into the shop until they are. I have a few large sets. So this is the one that fits an 11-inch square Q-snap. How fabulous is that? I mean, if that doesn't make you feel like a kid again in the early 70s, I don't know what does. At least that's what it does for me. I think it is so sweet. Now the notions tote for this is really fun. Because the print is directional, Kathy did a notions tote that is taller instead of wider and put the zip at the top. Now, so this notions tote is slightly larger than most of them, just so, oh look at that liner, just so that, you know, it's easy to get your hand in and out. So cute. And if I'm not mistaken, it's got the same liner in the big bag. Yeah. So we always have so much fun when she comes with a stack of bags, because I show her what I've made and she shows me what she's made, and it's pretty fun. Okay, this last one does not have a matching notions, but how cute is that? I'm tempted to sneak this one into my own stash, because just that little surprise pink elephant makes me smile. Cute. Okay, so that's it. I know there are a few more in the shop that I haven't shown today, but I think if there's any that I missed, or if any new ones go out, I'll share them next Monday, because this episode is already going to be long enough. A quick note about the shop. I am going to be taking a little break in the month of March. My kids have a break from school for March break, and last week my son, Nicholas, gave me a hug and he said, "Mommy, I really miss you. I've barely seen you. It feels like I've barely seen you. You're working all the time. You work so hard." And, you know, he was trying to be very sweet and appreciative and kind. And of course it was, but it broke my heart just a little bit. He's 9.5 years old. Well, he's almost 10. He's going to be 10 at the end of April. And my kids are growing up really fast. And I have to take some time off to just spend just with them. So in March, I will be closing the shop down for about 10 days while we sort of just take some family time while they're off school. And I am still going to put out a couple of videos. I'm going to put out the Stitch With Me videos. I may skip the Monday Flosstube episode that week. I'm not sure yet. I also will, I'm going to pre-record a few of the knitting tutorial videos, but maybe I might take a little bit longer to go through the hat tutorial than we did with the dishcloth. So just so that everybody understands, I probably won't be all that available on social media. I'm going to take a bit of a break so that I can concentrate on them and make them number one for a little while. Not that they're not always number one, but so that my time isn't quite so divided. I know you all understand how that feels. Other than that, speaking of the knitting, the information for the hat, I will be posting the materials needed for the hat on my blog, www.offthegridneedlearts.com. I will be posting the materials list for that. It's very straightforward. Louise gave it to me last night, so I will post that on my blog after I've uploaded this video in case you want to hop over and have a peek. And I wanted to say thank you to Pretty Southern. And I'm not sure if she watches my videos, but I watch her videos and she's funny, she's sweet, and she's an amazing crafter. And she left me a comment on my Instagram post, my Instagram photo from a few days ago when I posted the knitting tutorial. And she said, you know, how nice it was that her stitchy feed had all of a sudden turned into a hand knitting feed because of all of the people who are learning how to knit and, you know, posting progress of their dishcloths on their Instagram feed. And I thought that was a really nice thing to say because it's really been an amazing, fun thing to do and to see all of these people getting so excited about what they're doing. And Gerald, thanks to you, because it was, you know, you who said you wanted to learn how to knit. So I think that we've done something really fun and a little bit special. So if you have not joined in and you're thinking that you might like to, all of those knitting tutorial videos are separated out into their own little category over on the playlist section of my channel. So you can go in, it's never too late to start, and you can watch right from the very beginning and just go all the way through. And I think I had a comment from a lady who did that this weekend, and she said, you know, she started practicing the knit stitch, cast on and knit stitch in the afternoon, and then in about the course of 3 hours, she had a finished dishcloth. So that's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. Anyways, guys, this episode is going to be up there in time, which, you know, that's going to happen now and then. And I know that some of you enjoy that, and some others are just looking to get in and out. So I hope that you have a wonderful week ahead. I hope that you find plenty of time to put in a few stitches, and I will see you on Friday for Friday Off the Grid stitching party. Happy stitching.